tired of seeing people in my own state and around this country who are walking around with teeth rotting in their mouths because they cannot afford the dental care that they need, because dental care is health care. And on it goes. But let's be clear about something, and this is maybe the most important point that I want to make. The current debate that we're having on health care and Medicare for all really has nothing to do with health care, because in my view, this dysfunctional health care system.
According to the most recent statistics, the average refund for 2021 was actually $2,800. So many taxpayers are just preparing for more stimulus money, and it's good to see that some people can get the help they need. And I agree. People should be getting the help they need very fast and sooner than later, because it shouldn't be taking forever for somebody to send out stimulus checks. If it takes forever, then something's wrong. But President Biden is up in his hands, and let's see what he can do this year. I want to see him send out more stimulus checks for 2023. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments. And if you guys think he will, also tell me in the comments. Because who knows what Joe Biden will do. Affecting the stimulus programs this very year. There's already a couple of stimulus crisis aid dedicated to trillions of families nationwide, and although most eligible households have already received at least 3 rounds of stimulus, people are going to get more stimulus aid in 2023, because experts say an array of government initiatives have helped stem financial hardship for millions of people. Much of the aid is directed to low and middle income, who are more vulnerable to job and income losses. Since the crisis began, remote work has already been on the rise, and homeowners can now work from anywhere and still maintain their jobs. This freedom has resulted in many homeowners looking to reallocate and relocate, and with many choosing locations with more affordable housing or to be closer to family. States like Arkansas, Kansas, Alaska have capitalized on this trend by offering cash incentives to move there. Alaska's incentive program is one of the oldest, most well-established, and versatile on this list. Founded in 1980, Alaska's permanent fund dividend pays its residents each year that they live there. The fund has no regional restrictions. It means you can collect it regardless of where you move into the state. It only has a very simple qualification, only requiring you to have lived in the state for one continuous calendar year before applying. To receive the fund each year, you must maintain Alaska residency and live in the state during the entire year you wish to claim the incentive. The amount paid out to residents changes depending on yearly revenue, but it averages around $1,600. Michigan is another state looking to incentivize remote workers to relocate to its Michigan Move to Michigan program. Specifically, it's trying to draw people from its southwestern region by offering potential homeowners $10,000 or even $15,000 if they have children enrolled in public schools. Michigan's relocation incentive program is particularly impressive. It totals up to $20,000 worth of incentives. 17 states in the United States have also chose to give their residents payments to help offset the economic hurdles. So, the crisis to cut down the budget surplus, and depending on states like Florida, other 17 states have given some payments out, but only to about 60,000 families. The different states that gave money to the residents to help cover higher costs and continuing economic difficulties didn't give all the same amount. Florida gave families $450 per child for any household receiving welfare benefits, caring for foster children, or even providing guardian services in the state. And now, other states gave specific amounts, like California. In California, you will get up to $1,500 in a check between October and January as part of the state's recent middle-class tax refund. The program was announced by Newsom in June, and Colorado, on the other hand, is giving its residents $750 per person as a tax rebate. The move was passed thanks to a new law signed by the governor, but these checks have not been sent out yet. Officials say that checks will arrive in spring. In Delaware, state residents received funds as well. A $300 check went to each resident in May, thanks to a House bill signed in April. Georgia residents didn't quite get a stimulus check yet. Instead, the state government gave everyone a tax refund if they'd paid state taxes in 2020 and 2021. Individuals got $250 if they were single or married but filed separately, and while heads of households got $375 and married couples received $500 together. Hawaiians got between $100 and $300 depending on the filing status and income level, and the state tax office even said that the funds are still being distributed, but should finish arriving by December 31st. So in the Idaho bill, it gave residents an income tax deduction and a rebate equal to 12% of the 2020 tax return amounts. So, it's good to see that people are getting stimulus checks.
While we continue to spend ourselves into oblivion, almost every single European nation is working to shrink their deficit. We routinely look to Europe and we say, look how liberal, look how big government, look how socialized, and yet most of Europe actually balances their annual budget. In 2019, 15 of 26 European countries ran budget surpluses. Another 8 European countries ran deficits of less than 3% of their GDP, while here in the U.S., in that same year, our deficit exceeded 6% of GDP. Europe is a glaring example that fiscal responsibility is possible. It's not a pipe dream. In fact, if we just cut our spending to what we spent in 2019, just 3 years ago, we would actually have a balanced budget today. Instead, we have jumped from a deficit that was 6% of our GDP to a deficit that is 12% of our GDP. We are adding debt at an alarming rate. We are adding debt at a greater pace than we ever have in the history of our country. Thankfully, some of our predecessors in Congress anticipated this lack of restraint, and they gave us some guideposts. They gave us some rules. They established guardrails and tools to keep our budget in check. For example, there is a rule called the Statutory Pay-Go Act, or PAYGO for short. It requires that if you have new spending, it has to be offset by cuts elsewhere in the budget or elsewhere in the spending bill. Despite equipping our government with this necessary tool, though...
Folks, do you think that President Biden can do all that it takes to send the fourth stimulus check? Tell me what you think in the comments below. We have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check, everybody. Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. Continue watching this video because you definitely don't want to miss out on this. The Social Security Administration has released a new announcement on monthly benefit payments. Seniors and SSI beneficiaries can expect to receive a big benefit increase very soon. And now we have a very big update for all Social Security beneficiaries. An official with the SSA said seniors and others who rely on the benefits program are likely to receive a COLA, closer to 8% at the end of the year due to the current rate of inflation. That increase, everybody, would represent the biggest COLA since 1981. The average monthly Social Security check is about $1,700, which means beneficiaries could see an increase of $132 per month as early as 2023, bringing the average check to about $1,700. The agency's monthly Social Security check is around $1,700, which means beneficiaries could see an increase of $132 per month in early 2023. The 69 million Americans who collect Social Security get a 5.9% COLA increase in January. It was the biggest bump since 1982, but inflation has raced far ahead of that number this year, hitting 8.3% in April. CPIW is the inflation index for Social Security, and an expert said that a 3.8% COLA stems from the 2022 Trustees Report, which was released on last week and predicted that the program would boost benefits by 3.8% at the end of 2022. Economists think inflation will ease later this year as the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates to dampen demand from consumers and businesses. For now, it remains red hot. And the SSA bases its COLA adjustments on a basket of goods and services called the CPIW. The agency will make its official COLA announcement in October.